What's your proudest achievement?
Oh, probably my family. I got a wonderful family. If it's professional, I think it was pretty good that I did all the performances I was supposed to do in a Broadway-style musical, Candide. Very difficult, hard to do, and Nancy Dussault and I were the two people who never missed a performance. Almost everybody else in the cast, and some of them not playing big parts either, had a vocal problem or something. Somehow, in spite of the fact that my voice is not anywhere near up to that standard, I still managed to do it and do them all. So I felt very proud. I was very proud to be in that and do it. I've liked the work I've done downtown there. Oh, there's one other thing I did down there. Gordon Davidson called me one day at around 11 in the morning and said, "Listen, would you be willing to go on tonight in a play? Would you be willing to go on for Joe Flynn, who broke his ankle this morning, or broke his leg this morning, kind of like that's one of the things, break a leg." He said, so he did. I said, "Well, what's the play?" He says, "Oh, it's a brand new play." I said, "Oh God, well, I don't know." Thinking, yes, of course I want to do it. I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, let me figure it out. Now, what do I have to wear? Because I'm not going to be able to get home. It's too far away." And he told me, so I said, "Well, I'll get my stuff together and I'll be there in about 45 minutes. And I went downtown and I met with him. And I went on that night, and it went pretty well. In fact, there were a couple of things I did that were funny enough that they got the biggest laughs in the show. There was one where this guy was drunk, and he was also a very uptight Catholic guy on a censorship board, but who also, it's called The Mind with a Dirty Man. And so Don Knotts used to do it. And so he had to go, he was in with a bunch of uptight Catholics. And so at the end of the play, he went kind of crazy, he got drunk, and he took off all his clothes except for, maybe he had a pair of shorts that he still had on. So I used to wear 2 pairs of shorts. I could take one off and throw that back in. And then I would come back in, and my son, Peter Strauss, came out and grabbed me and said, Dad, what are you doing?" And before I went off, I carried the script the whole time when I did it. And I figured I better hold it loose leaf, just one act at a time. And I made that decision, and I also told him what to get me for supper. But when I went off stage to go out, and I left the script there downstage, and I went outside and threw my shorts back on, and then Peter Strauss came out and he wrapped me in a blanket. And I came back in with him and he said, "Dad, why did you do that?" And as I went for the script, I said, "I'll tell you in a minute." And it got the biggest laugh in the show. And so I loved doing something like that. That was fun. It was fun doing that, doing it cold off the top of your head like that. All the way through the show, I had a good time. And it was a big hit. The LA Critics Circle nominated me for the best performance of the year from it. Thank God I didn't get it, because I didn't deserve it. But it upset everybody downtown, I know. They couldn't get over the fact that they said, "Well, poor Joe Flynn and all of that." Poor Joe Flynn, he was fine.
What's your biggest regret?
Oh, God. Well, that I didn't get to work on Broadway. I really should have. But you had to be in New York to do that, And it was never worth my while to, even when I used to go back there and do voiceover work, for the first 3 years before I went back and did the play back there, I had sort of prepared the field by going back and doing some voiceover work there so I could support myself. But I hated to be away from the family, for one thing, and I didn't want to change my whole life around. And I didn't want to stop coming out here and living the life that I like and staying in one room apartment in New York by myself. None of that appealed to me. I didn't want to go on the road, for God's sake. I'd had a chance to do that early on and I'd gone as far as San Francisco and then bailed out of a show. I did the cocktail party early on. But I don't know, I'd say working on Broadway.
Right. And then finally, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, God, I don't know. Well, I guess if they remember the Admiral, that'd be kind of fun. I really don't know. I've done a lot of public service work. I'm still a trustee of our pension and health plan and of the Motion Picture and Television Fund, and I did my time in the Barrel as the president of the Guild, and I started I started the Committee for Performers with Disabilities because I think that was an important step. It got them the same kind of coverage and protection that other things like racial, like non-discriminatory thing about people of different races, and all of the, I can't think of the terms anymore, but my brain is really fried. But all of that stuff, that's a lasting heritage. So anytime I see somebody with a disability on the stage, on camera, including the guy, David, who played on the procedural show, CSI, the first one. He was the coroner. Yeah, he'd been terribly burned, and he's done a lot of work. That's been ongoing. So I think I started something good there, that I did. People urged me to do it, but I was in a position to do it when I was president, and I made sure it got done. So I think that's worth talking about, maybe. I don't know.